Welcome, dear listener, to Spirituality in the Brain. I am Vanessa Anceloni, your host, and this segment is about the latest findings in neuroscience and the teachings of Spiritism. Today, we're going to talk about reading and the effect on our brain and our cognition in the long term of life and the teachings of Spiritism. In July of 2013, the journal Neurology published a beautiful article by Drs. Wilson and collaborators. This article is titled Lifespan, Cognitive Activity, Neuropathologic Burden, and Cognitive Aging. The objective of this study was to test the hypothesis that cognitive activity across the lifespan is related to late life cognitive decline, not linked to common neuropathologic disorders. And this research shows that the main conclusion of this study is that more frequent cognitive activity across the lifespan has an association with slower late life cognitive decline, which is independent of common neuropathologic conditions consistent with the cognitive reserve hypothesis. What does it mean? In this study, they observed that people who have a very active cognitive life, later on, they have less decline in their cognition. What is cognition? Cognition is about the mental processes. Here they are talking about the fact that the more we stimulate our mental processes by thinking, understanding, learning, remembering, the less we're going to decline in those abilities later in life, which is quite fascinating. It seems second nature, but it's the first time that science actually proved to us that if we keep it up, defying and challenging our thinking, understanding, learning, our memories, we're going to boost the connections in the brain, keeping them for as long as possible and have less of a decline later in our aging years. This is quite beautiful because in Spiritism we see the spirits telling us, if we go to the book Happy Life by Joana de Angelis, she says, read one small page a day where you find encouragement and inspiration. Incorporate this duty into your daily habits. It will enrich you with joy, clearing away the clouds that could develop in you in the hours to come and leading you to well-being in case there is some disagreeable surprise. Everyone needs a good counselor, and on this page, which you extract from the Gospels, you'll find a secure guideline and the word of wisdom for any situation. If men and women would just reflect a little before acting, they would avoid countless evils. Dear listener, in Spiritism, we have a vanguard proposal, something for the next centuries, and we are already in touch with it. Spiritism challenges our reasoning, our mental processes, our cognition. So, no wonder people who are fully engaged in the Spiritist teachings, who are really active in their Spiritist practice, in reading and studying Spiritism, they usually have less cognitive decline in their aging years. Chico Xavier is one example of it, Divaldo Franco. I in my family have several people as an example, including my grandmother, and I've seen many wonderful people in the Spiritist movement who actually are doing quite well in their cognition, in their aging years. And we ask why? Because if you observe what these people do, they keep reading and studying and practicing Spiritism at the highest level. And you can tell that Spiritism really challenges our reasoning and mental processes. So it goes hand in hand with these teachings telling us that if we study what is out there in Spiritism, for example, we can really keep up our cognition up to date in the aging years. This is just a comment and an observation. What science is telling us is that we need to boosting our understanding, thinking, to really have it all in the aging years. And you may ask, but Vanessa, why do I need to keep it up in my aging years if I'm gonna die? Well, that's why we're here. We don't die, my friends. So if we don't die, whatever time we have on the earth is gonna be precious for immortality. Immortality means if I am planting the seed today, it's going to be reaped not only in the next lifetime, but and immortality. So it's worthwhile learning always. There is never a time and an age in which we say, I'm too old for it. We spiritists, we don't understand that way, and science vouches for it, saying that we can boost our cognition, our brain capacity, by challenging our reasoning, our cognitive skills the best we can. So what can you do? Do what Joanna DeAngeli says. Read, even if it's a small page a day. That's going to be helpful. Not only for the physical process of our lives in this incarnation, but as also an opportunity to nourish ourselves with good reading for our day-to-day life. Dear listener, this is it for today. If you have a comment or a question, write to us at KardecRadio.com. We have a contact form that is there for you. In the meantime, we wish you lots of blessings.